Tough Dark Fight is a 3D action fighting game that was developed and published by Konami for the PlayStation 2 in Japan only in 2005. And this game would be based off a very popular comic book franchise that would have been released in the region and published between the years of 1993 and 2003. And the game would be a direct reflection of various elements seen in the comic that reprises the roles of many of the characters seen in the series, where they have their own individual story arcs to complete, while also telling the ability to intertwine all of the stories with each of the characters to achieve a specific outcome. The game itself, although while not as polished compared to some other fighting games seen on the system, the game would also take a lot of heavy inspiration from that seen in the likes of the Tekken games that would have been released by Namco, as it has a very reflective look and even feel to those games. And while it does play well, it wouldn't be as easy to pick up and play compared to the Tekken games, as this game, in all honesty, for all its cool features, is a hard game to master. And especially even on the easiest difficulties, you'd be thinking to yourself that this game would primarily be something that you could really get into. And it is for the majority of players, but just know that the computer AI in this game, when you're playing against the computer, not only are they overly aggressive even on lower difficulties, but they have 3 times the amount of damage that they can inflict on your characters compared to what you can do with them. Like, for every one hit that you will take on them, you will have to hit them 3 or 4 times to take out 1 piece of bar energy, which they could take out on you in 1 hit. So much so to a point that as of playing this game, I found that in certain instances, and depending on certain characters, because again, some characters have various different attributes and some are a lot more stronger than others, to a point that literally 2-3 hit combos is enough to wipe you out. And this is even on the easiest difficulty, so that'll tell you how difficult this game is. As while there is some really good move sets, the combinations can be quite difficult and tricky to put together, as the controls themselves are not as fluent compared to other fighting games. They can feel very sluggish and clunky, and it just feels very, very tough to try and figure out how to put all of the movesets together. And by the time you've actually figured it out, you're as good as gone. The opponent will literally just wipe the floor with you. That's just the way that this game rolls, pretty much, unfortunately. Like, it is a good game for what it does offer, and it definitely has some really cool features that does take a lot of inspiration from a lot of other popular fighters that would have been seen, not just on the PS2 but even the likes of the PS1. And the fact is that it is influenced by a popular comic book series does give it added credit, but it does fall short when you compare it to the more heavy hitters of the fighting games seen on the console. When you look at the likes of the Tekken Tag Tournament, Tekken 4, Tekken 5, and even some other phenomenal 3D fighting games, this game, while it is decent in its own right, it just doesn't match up to those heavy hitters as such. And it's primarily due to the pick up and play elements of it, because for a beginner coming into this game, you will just get destroyed, because even when you do put it on the easiest difficulty, as I said, the computer opponents will just wipe the floor with you. They'll literally hit you maybe 3 or 4 times and they'll wipe out almost 2/3 of your energy bar, and 1 or 2 more hits and you're gone. They just take so much out of you with each hit that they inflict that it will frustrate you. It will be a case that it's down to pure luck. I found myself just literally having to spam the same moves over and over again depending on who I was fighting, and you would have to adapt your gameplay style depending on each character that you faced, because some characters would block a lot more or they would do more damage. So when you were trying to pull off combos, the chances of you connecting would be very, very slim, and they would always counteract with their own combo, and they just juggle you in the air once they get you in the air and they just wipe you out. You don't even have a chance to even retaliate or to even try and get a hit back in. You're as good as gone. So that will lead to the frustration for some players, but I suppose it is what it is. It's not a perfect game by any means, but it is a different example and another unique example that in most respects, if you are good at fighting games and you have patience, then you can definitely get something out of this. And I'm sure that the more seasoned of arcade fighting players will definitely be able to master this type of game. It really just depends on your own play style and what you think of it yourself, but again, I will leave that up to you. So it's just another one of those unique fighting games that you can add to your list of titles to try out, especially from other regions that you may not have known about. So if you are interested in it, there's no harm in having a look to see what you think for yourself. And if you have experienced this game, I would love to know your thoughts of what you thought about the game in general and what do you think of it overall. Did you struggle with it or did you enjoy it? I'd love to hear whatever stories you do have of this game, so be sure to share it down in the comments below. And if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to be updated with future videos. And if you would like to see more content around other types of fighting games that were released on the PS2 and also in Japan, then you can check out this playlist here on screen to see more of those games in action. And I will see you all in the next one.